Okay, I think we're about live. Just a second, got to get the rest of them up. And oh my word, every time I try to do this live stuff, I've always got to take and do some adjustments. I'm trying to make this efficient. I do it on multiple platforms at once. Anyway, boom, glad to be here with you. So today what we're going to do is do a quick deep dive into a question that I know when I started out doing this internet marketing stuff, this stuff vexed me to death. I was trying to figure out like some of these technologies, platforms, and softwares to take and to use. And this is one that really got my attention is what's better. So today what we're going to do is discover what's better, ActiveCampaign, Actionetics, or Actionetics MD. Now you've probably seen a lot of buzz. ClickFunnels has got their Actionetics MD that's starting to roll out. Lots of buzz about it. I think it's going to have some really, really cool features on it. And so just so you're aware, I think like Russell Brunson's a stud. And Russell Brunson's kind of the backing behind making all this ClickFunnels stuff work with Actionetics MD, and ActiveCampaign. I really like that product. So what I'll take and I'll show you today is some behind the scenes, some details if you're trying to make a decision on what kind of autoresponder you should use for your program or for your internet-based business. Anyway, just a little bit about Russell. I'd give him a lot of credibility and license, because what we know about Russell is he's a master internet marketer. He's done a phenomenal job, and he's basically what he's worked on or what he's creating, in my opinion, is kind of like a safety net, a place where people can go and be safe so that their businesses can accelerate, grow, but also be in a safety net where you can be safe or protected. Sorry about that. Not trying to ramble, but got a lot of things to cover and not much time to do it. Okay. So here's the deal. You're probably wanting to do internet marketing because you want to make a ton of money. And so then the question is what kind of autoresponder would I take and use? Well, here's what we know. In the internet marketing space, if you do not have an email list, you do not have a business. Why? Because you're going to try to siphon all these people to your site and you're going to get them trying to buy your thing. But the thing is most people won't buy it. Somebody coming to your site's got to have 7 touches or 7 contacts with you before they're going to take and buy it. So if they come once and they never come back, how in the world are you going to rope these people into your world so that you actually have a business? Okay. Answer is your autoresponder. You've got to be able to kick out emails to them. So they come in, you do some sort of lead magnet. They come in, you got their attention, and now you've got to follow up with a set of email sequences to be able to pull all the money in. Basically, in this business, all the money is in the back end of the business, which is where your emails come in. And so when we talk about autoresponders, we're not talking about a small piffy little thing in your business. We're talking about a massive nugget that if you don't get this right, don't even bother. Go sell something else. Go do something else, because without it, you're dead. Okay. So that brings up the next question is which autoresponder are you going to use? Okay. Here's one of the big problems that you run into. And this is the problem that Russell ran into. And this is kind of where the birth of Actionetics took place. Okay. A list, your email list, if you start building up an email list so that you can email people and communicate with people, if the autoresponder steps in and they decide that they don't like you anymore, they could literally just sever you. And in the end, your entire business just walked right out the door. You pretty much, I don't know if you lost everything, but you lost a massive amount, because without a list, you're dead. So anyway, what Russell ended up discovering is as he was moving forward, taking and sending out emails, autoresponders, they didn't like him. They could take it, shut him down, and then in the essence, shut down his business. And it became very, very expensive and very damaging. And so his way around it in the end is he created what he calls Actionetics. Now, Actionetics is a little bit different than some of your other autoresponders. What do I mean by that? Okay, good question. If I use ActiveCampaign, I can use ActiveCampaign and they host, I put my emails in there, they host them, and then they also send them out. Actionetics, Like the basic Actionetics plan does not do that. What it is it is a place where you take and you put all of your emails in it and it hosts it, okay? But think of it kind of like FedEx or UPS, okay? Everything sits inside the warehouse of Actionetics. But when it's time to send the email, they use like SendGrid or all these different other autoresponders who literally just take the data from Actionetics and then they take and they send it. So if you're looking at, I need a platform, I need to be able to send emails. If you go with Actionetics, you need two services. You need Actionetics to host the emails, and then the delivery system is like a SendGrid. And there's other ones that are like SendGrid. This actually has some major advantages. If your provider all of a sudden says you suck, we're never going to send an email for you again, who cares, right? Like FedEx, you were delivering my packages. You don't want to deliver my packages no more? Fine, UPS. I've got somebody else. Boom, no problem. Still have a business. One day later, no, actually same day, problem solved. Start sending my packages through UPS. Easy peasy, okay? ActiveCampaign is the warehouse and they are the FedEx. So if they decide they no longer want to help you anymore, they shut it off. They just took your warehouse, which is all your emails, all of your contacts, all your stuff, and then they took all your content and then you're dead. That's the big difference, and that's where Russell stepped in. He says, hey, I want to protect myself by putting something in place where nobody can come in here and destroy my business ever again. And it's, near as I could tell, it must be a real problem because it's one of the things that keeps bubbling up. Now, before you run off and get all excited and you say, hey, I'm going to go up with Actionetics, there I've got a few things in. There's a few zingers you've got to be aware of. Like, you've got to be an educated person to be able to make the correct decision based on your circumstances, okay? So what do I mean by this? If I was to take Actionetics and ActiveCampaign, I set the two products side by side as far as being able to write emails, create emails and stuff. ActiveCampaign is a lot like your, say, Microsoft Word or whatnot, or Apple Pages, where you can go in there, you can change fonts, sizes. The functionality and the usefulness of this thing is really slick. You just come in here, I can make big text here. In the same paragraph, big text, little text, blue colors, green colors, like all kinds of really, really, really cool stuff, okay? And because marketing is very, very important, I want to make sure that I'm sending out good emails. So with ActiveCampaign, I can create split tests. I'll put a split test A, B, C, D, whatever. I can create these different emails with different headings, different hooks, different things that will grab somebody's attention and cause them to open my email so that I can even present anything to them. ActiveCampaign does that. They allow me to test all kinds of different emails, slicker than all get out, okay? Love it. When I come over, and to me, like ActiveCampaign, being able to do that's like the NFL of autoresponders, like phenomenal, right? I come over here to Actionetics, and I feel like I just got into like a junior high football team. Like I will get in there and I'll start writing emails. I'll start taking sections. They kind of do it in this thing they call wireframing or blocks, right? Basically think of it as just paragraphs. Every paragraph, it can have a bold color, which could be like pink, and then the regular color can be like black. So if it's not bold, then it's black, and if it's bold, it's pink. But I can't have different font sizes in it. Like everything in this paragraph it can be two different colors, but it's got to be the exact same font. And then it comes down here, the next paragraph, exact same thing, and the next thing, and the next thing, and the next things. What you'll discover is when you're in here using Actionetics, that you're like, oh, I don't want this section anymore. So you'll delete a section, but the section you highlighted to delete, there's a bug in the system and you deleted this chunk up here in your email. And you're like, holy cow, where did all my content go that I just wrote? It just vanished. Their thing is buggy. It's got issues, it's got stuff. Like when I use that product, I have to do something, save the email, do something, save the email. And then if I do something and all of a sudden this section I meant to move or delete is all of a sudden still there, I have to exit out of the program, come back into the program, and then there's my stuff again. And so if I take these two things, being able to write a compelling email and make it look clean or pretty or whatever, like ActiveCampaign's like the NFL, okay? There's a big difference in the quality of what you're experiencing as you're working inside these products and as your ability to split test and to find out which emails respond. Over here on this ActiveCampaign or Actionetics, it's weak. Kind of drives me nuts a little bit. And so that's kind of those are two big chunks that you ought to take and compare, okay? Let's see. There was a couple other things all right. So I think those are two huge nuggets. Now, when I say Actionetics is kind of like a peewee league, okay, or a junior high football team versus the NFL, this Actionetics, they get to go out on the field with like hockey sticks. Like they have a way to take and blow out the legs of this ActiveCampaign. They have integrated Actionetics so deeply inside of the ClickFunnels software that, like, if you do a webinar, for example, somebody comes to the webinar and they don't buy, but they showed up. Over here, Actionetics is so tightly integrated that you can send a very specific email to that person who showed up but didn't buy. You can send a different email sequence to the person that did buy. And it's already there. It's already connected, which means it's just very simple. And so out of the box, you have some really cool functionalities in Actionetics if you're using a ClickFunnels platform. So as you can see, there's these puts and takes. And those puts and takes kind of make a big difference. And depending on, I'll show you in the end kind of what I came up with for myself. I just know that one is phenomenal. The other one's not phenomenal, in my opinion, but it has got some tools in its war chest that in my opinion, seem to compensate it, where I have to say, well, wait a minute, before I dismiss this, it's got some weapons in there that are lethal. And since we want to make money, lethality, or being able to effectively hit somebody at the exact moment with the exact problem that they have, is very important. And being safe so that somebody can't swipe your business out because they don't like sending your emails no more is kind of a big deal. So, all right, so let me take and let's lay this thing out a little bit. Kind of help me see it, okay? Let's see. All right, so I take and I lay their ActiveCampaign and Actionetics side by side to see what it would cost, okay? I can take right here, I can start, all right, make sure you guys can see this. I can take ActiveCampaign and I can just pick up a program, use it, and it's going to cost me, you can see, $10 a month. So, hey, ActiveCampaign, I'd love to use your service. They'd say, sure, no problem, I'm just starting out. Fantastic, they're like $10 a month. Okay, here you go, $120 a year. And I'm a happy camper. I just got in the game without spending a ton of money. When I come over here to ActiveCampaign, they're like, oh, this is going to cost you $200 a month just to get set up. And you're like, wow, that's kind of expensive, right? From day one, I'm $200. But since Actionetics does not take and send your emails, you've got to get a product called something like SendGrid, okay? SendGrid is your UPS or your FedEx. They're the ones that are going to deliver your email. So your $10 here, your $200 here, will put you $2,520 annually if you want to use Actionetics, versus $120 if you want to use ActiveCampaign. Pretty big difference for a guy that's starting out, okay? If you want to use Actionetics MD, okay, right here, boom, okay? Wow, it's a little bit cheaper because Actionetics MD is also the FedEx system. They will take and deliver your emails also. So you can see, like, you'd almost say, hey, because I want to go cheap from the beginning, I would want to use ActiveCampaign, right? Because it's easy to get in the game. Then you're like, well, my second best choice is Actionetics MD, okay? Don't try to make a decision yet, because if you don't get the rest of the data, you're going to be reeling in pain in someday. And I'm telling you, in this game, knowledge is going to be power, okay? So that's kind of where you're at. What I kind of, all right, I'm going to get into this next step of it, and I'll show you this piece of it. If, let's just say that you're getting to be a little bit bigger fish, okay? And all of a sudden you swell up, you've now got 100,000 people on your email list. Fan-flippin-tastic. Your business is doing great, okay? If I am going to take and use ActiveCampaign, I'm going to spend $369 a month, and then I'm going to spend $4,458 annually. That is the price of playing the game with ActiveCampaign, $4,000. Well, if I use the Actionetics SendGrid strategy, I am going to be $300 a month, and then that means I'm $3,600 annually. So boom, as far as cost comparisons, Actionetics, boom, you win, because it's just flat out cheaper. Fantastic. If I go into Actionetics MD, this is where things get a little bit interesting. Actionetics MD, I'm $1,247 a month, which is $14,964 annually. Wait a minute. All of a sudden, as my email list started to grow, Actionetics MD, you have just become 3 times more expensive. Like, seriously, I can get ActiveCampaign or Actionetics for about $3,600 to $4,400, and you want almost 15 grand annually. Like, the question is what are you going to deliver that makes you 3 times more valuable than these other 2 softwares and products? That is a doggone good question. Here's a zinger. This is something you've got to know, or if you don't know this, you might not be able to make the right decision. Why do I know that? Because here's the deal. If you decide that you want to do this Actionetics MD, okay, guess what you cannot do? You cannot go back to regular Actionetics. You just became a lifer to something that became exponentially more expensive. And as your email list grows and you get all the way up here to like almost 300,000 people on your email list, you're going to be spending over 40, I think it's just over $40,000 a year to send your emails. Like, I don't know if that makes you nervous, but 40 G's for emails, snap. Okay, that is one of the big zingers. Okay, so now you're trying to make a decision. This is kind of where I feel like I'm at with this. Okay, I've seen this data, I've analyzed it, I've looked at it. I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to fit in this world. Like, ClickFunnels is trying to operate a little bit like Apple. Okay, Apple created a really cool iPhone. I love their iPhone. And I could be happy the rest of my life just using their iPhone, but I really like their iPad. And they integrate really well. They talk and they communicate to each other. And so I can upgrade and I can buy me an iPad, and I can buy like my MacBook. I love my MacBook, and I can buy that. And these things work seamlessly, right? When I feel like when I get inside the ClickFunnels world, that they're trying to make a mousetrap like this that's very effective because they work well together. Except what they're doing is they almost make a product that doesn't work right without the other one. So they hook me on this, but they force me to buy this, I feel like. And they're like, no, hands off. You don't have to buy our email stuff and this and that, right? You can just spend $97 a month. But then their software is not completely able to function completely because you're missing the other $200 a month. So I feel like there's like velvet gloves. Like when you work with your client, you've got to step in with some velvet gloves. Like, their gloves are a little bit rough. Like, I like the strategy, and they found a really good mousetrap that's forcing me to buy their stuff, but it's kind of a harsh mousetrap because it's forcing, in essence, it's almost like one product won't function very well without the other one. And so that's kind of where I'm at, and that's kind of my feelings on the 2 softwares. Okay, so then the question is where, based on that information, the facts and the data and the information I just shared with you, where would I take and where would I go? What would I take and I would do? Here's what I know. Russell Brunson knows exactly what he's doing. I believe like I am looking for a very, very compelling story why I should pay 3 times as much to use his Actionetics MD. The guy, Russell, is minting millionaires probably faster than almost anybody else. Like every day, almost every day, somebody is breaking the $1 million mark inside his company. And he's taken them there. And so the guy definitely deserves our respect. He definitely deserves our attention. If he says this is important, then I'd have to agree with him. Let's pay attention and look at it. Do I think he wants a lot of money for what he's created? Yes, he does. He wants he wants his chunk. But I guess if he helps you get your chunk, then sharing chunks is probably okay. Anyway, but I'm still looking for a very, very compelling story that would convince me that I want to go down the route of Actionetics MD. I am not convinced right now. I have not seen enough value, and all I can see is as the emails go up, his costs go up massively. And so like 40-something thousand a year just to send emails. Wow, that's a lot. So, all right, where does that leave us? Where would I settle in based on all this information? Personally, I'm leaning, the way I have moved is I'm warehousing all my stuff in inside Actionetics. Why? Because if things ever went south with the autoresponder, that would be damaging. And I think that there's less risk sitting over inside of Active or Actionetics. Frankly, right now I've got Actionetics and ActiveCampaign, and ActiveCampaign is still collecting all of my information, all of my contacts and stuff, but all my emails and everything I'm creating, hosting, and sending out all comes out of Actionetics. I wasn't sure in the beginning how I would take and proceed, so I went down both routes. I really, really liked ActiveCampaign much, much, much better as far as user experience, functionality, but those hockey sticks that can blow out knees became very valuable. And then I believe that Russell he's building a business and a system designed to protect internet marketers so that their business cannot dissolve overnight. Based on that, I think Russell's got my best interest, so that's why I'm going into that. That's why I'm using Actionetics. And I really, really hope that he convinces me that Actionetics MD is the way to go, because I can't justify today spending 3 times as much for the same. Okay, so he's not going to claim, he's claiming it's not the same service. He's claiming it's got all this other cool stuff into it, right? But in the end, it's still an autoresponder. It's an autoresponder with the text responders. It's got all these little different things in it, but we need a compelling story why to take him to do that. So conclusion is, it would be nice if I felt like I was being handled more with velvet gloves instead of rough gloves that force me into things that I don't want. But I'd rather be safe, and so I guess I'll just put up with it, because Steve Jobs he was a little bit, I guess he was a tyrant, so to speak. I don't think Russell's a tyrant like that, but his business model is a little less velvet glovey. Anyway, so that's my analysis. I take Actionetics over ActiveCampaign, and that is where I would settle in at. Hope you found this valuable. Anyway, you can go to Rags to Riches Transition. What I'm doing is I'm putting together things that will help you make your transition. I am basically, depending on where you're at in this journey, maybe I'm just a few months ahead of you. I've already spent a massive amount of money trying to discover how to make this transformation from rags to riches. I've spent a lot of money doing this, a lot of time. As you know, in my previous stories I shared, my business took and dissolved completely out from under me. Now I am making a rags to riches transition. My life is, right now, my back's up against the wall a bit. Just the way the business took and dissolved. You can look at my other videos that I take and posted so you can see the backstory. But anyway, like thousands and thousands of dollars of value of stuff I've learned, I've paid for, training, coaching, all this stuff. Basically, I'm just rolling it out so that you can get the same education and you can make the same transition. I understand that making a transition, getting into internet marketing is difficult, because I can appreciate the problem going through it myself right now. Anyway, see you at ragstherichetransition.com, and let's make your transformation also, or transition also. Thanks. Bye. Okay. There we go.